Virat Kohli saying that this is the right time. He thought the time was right to walk away. I am joined on the show by my experts to talk about India's exit from the World Cup, Virat Kohli walking away from T20 captaincy, and also the end of Kohli-Shastri era. I am joined by former Indian cricketer Ashok Malhotra. Joining me on the show, cricket expert Anis Sajan. We have Indian fan Rishi Chhabra and fantasy gully expert Karthik Iyer on the show. Well, Ashok, Virat Kohli says that he thought it was the right time to walk away. Did you think that this was the appropriate moment for Virat Kohli to say goodbye to T20 captaincy?
I think it was not. Not just on the start of World Cup. He could have, if he wanted to go away, he should have told after the World Cup, okay, thanks very much, thanks for the memories, and that would have done. Because the moment he announced his retirement for captaincy of T20, it put a little bit of extra pressure. It took Indian team off the boil, if I may say. But he has a legacy which we cannot doubt. We all appreciate. We are all proud of Virat Kohli, be it his batting, be it his captaincy record. It has been unbelievable. Maybe he's one of the top captains we have ever seen in Indian cricket, history. But only thing which it might be hurting him a bit will be the loss of 60% of tosses, which is amazing to say the least. I don't remember any captain losing so many tosses. But all in all, a great cricketer, a great legacy, and I wish him all the best for his future. And as Anis said in the morning, that at one stage he was running to the hundreds of Sachin record. He was, but it is somehow stopped a bit. Somehow there's a little bit of 2 years without 100. It is unlike Virat. I hope leaving of captaincy might turn it around.
Now let me ask my other experts on the show, Virat Kohli's biggest contribution to T20s. Anis, let me start with you.
Well, you in the show, which you already said about that his strike rate has gone up to 140, India winning 10 series in a row. I have nothing to say except that the ICC T20 World Cup, which was his first time he was captaining. Okay, he's not won an IPL. Let's keep that IPL aside. But otherwise, he's done wonders. India has been doing and winning everywhere. We've beaten England. England is the #1 team. Nobody beats England. India hasn't beaten England not once, but twice. So what else as a player you can achieve? He's led from the front, and as much as we talk about Rohit Sharma as one of the best white ball players, but with due respect to Rohit Sharma, I can dare say that there cannot be a Virat Kohli in Indian team in any format.
Okay, let me go over to Rishi. As a fan, what would you say is Virat Kohli's biggest contribution to T20 cricket?
I think like Mr. Anis said, he's won everywhere in the world. He's won us 10 consecutive T20 series. I think, let's not forget, one trophy can't define you as a captain or as a player. Overall, his captaincy has been brilliant. I think, the changes that he brought to the team, the fitness, the level of commitment that we see from players these days is you have to give credit to Virat Kohli for that. And I know he's not ended his captaincy in T20 World Cup with a win in the ICC tournaments, but he's still playing T20 cricket for India, and I still think that he has a lot to offer for the youngsters. He can be a mentor. He can play the role that MS Dhoni played to the Indian cricketers for a while. He can do that in the future, and I still feel he has a lot of cricket, especially T20 left for Team India now.
Karthik, since you are the numbers man on the show, let me ask you, what, according to you, is Kohli's most outstanding stat in T20s?
In T20s, the only Asian skipper to win in SENA countries, T20I series, that's South Africa, England, New Zealand and Australia. And as even the two experts mentioned, no one beats England in T20Is and no one beats Australia in Australia either. So Virat Kohli has achieved that feat. And even if you look at Test cricket, 42 months as the #1 ranked team ever since he has become the captain, it's a massive achievement. And also leading by example, he ensures that the people are fitter, and which is why you see India's fast bowling unit do well in Test, ODIs and T20Is. And even as a captain, people normally don't associate Kohli to have a great strike rate, but there you go, 140.55 in T20Is. It's a massive record.
Let me bring up a quote of Ravi Shastri from this evening where he talks about Virat Kohli. He waxes eloquent on the captain. He says Virat has done a fantastic job as a leader of the side, one of the best ambassadors of Test cricket. A lot of credit goes to him. Certainly, he has shaped the Test side very well. Perhaps certain holes to plug when it came to the T20 side, Ashok?
Yeah, I guess so. See, every captain, every player has a shelf life. So maybe 7 years down the line, having the pressure of billion of people, or it must be taking its toll on him. So maybe the right time to call it a day as a captain. But as you said, new guys, new ideas, fresh ideas. So it might not be a bad idea to leave 2020 captaincy and pass on the baton to somebody else, maybe Rohit Sharma or KL Rahul, whosoever. He'll come with the new ideas, with new strategies, and maybe things might improve because the next T20 World Cup is only a year away. So not enough time for the new captain.
World Cup and what India needs to do. But one of the key things that also came out this evening during Ravi Shastri's interview to the broadcaster was the fatigue factor. And he said, in fact, that he is fatigued. He said, I'm mentally drained, but I expect that at my age, this can happen. These guys are physically and mentally drained, and that's a big statement to make. He said we would have liked a bigger gap between IPL and this. 6 months in a bubble is tough and not an excuse. We are not scared of losing. I'm trying to, in trying to win, you lose a game. Anis, your comments on Ravi Shastri's statement coming from the first time. In fact, we haven't really heard much from the coach about mental fatigue and life in the bio bubble. This is for the first time he talks about it, and looks like pretty serious there.
Yes, Rika. Trust me, they are on the road since the end of May, after the England series. And can you imagine from May, end of May, June in England, July in England, August in England. And trust me, England is not a place where you like, because there people only discuss the weather and football. So it's most of the time depressing. And when you are in a bubble, it's quite tough. And then come back, play the IPL. Okay, no excuses. You had the best opportunity to get used to the World Cup. But finally, we are a mental, your body is not a machine. It has to finally break. And as Ravi Shastri mentioned, it's not only about physical, it's all about in the mental. When we are doing shows, Rika, with you or with anybody else, it tires us. So imagine this guy is playing cricket day in and out for 6 consecutive months. It's definitely going to take a toll, but no excuses. We had 2 bad days in the office, and that is where we paid the price. And I'm afraid we were in a group where the other 3 teams were too weak. We couldn't get the better of them. The other teams were easy to get beat. And that's why New Zealand and Pakistan roamed through.
Rishi, let me ask you, Kapil Dev said in a statement that the Indians chose club over country. Now, you are a Chennai fan, you are an Indian fan. If big stars are to make decisions, their decisions, based on the fatigue factor, based on managing their workload and not play for clubs, play for their country, how would the fans take it?
Personal opinion, I think country comes first over any other club or franchise cricket. We saw that with a lot of other players from other teams as well. They preferred, taking that time off during the second phase of the IPL. And we can see that in their performance as well in the T20 World Cup. They were much more active. They had a better preparation for the T20 World Cup. And that's what happened with our players as well. They've been on the go since the first half of the IPL. No break in between. And, it's easy for us, for you and me to, say that, sitting in our home, it's easy to stay in a bubble life. You have your family, you have your kids around. But then it gets difficult. You're just in a hotel. From there, you go to the stadium, and then coming back and forth playing cricket non-stop, it's never easy. So I think, but if given a choice, I think it should have been left to the players, that country over franchise cricket, and we might have seen a better result in this T20 World Cup.
So not just life in a freezer as Sir David Attenborough showed us, but life in a bio bubble is also very, very tough. As much as we dissect and talk about it, it's not going to get easy going forward. But is there a bio bubble? Is there no bio bubble? We really don't know going into the New Zealand tour, which India is going to play now. New Zealand comes home. There is another series that starts in 9 days' time. Ashok, despite Ravi Shastri saying what he said, do you think that the message really hasn't gone across to BCCI?
Rika, the one thing the players have to understand is bio bubble is way of life now. You know, it is not that either you play cricket or you don't play cricket. You talk about fatigue only when you play international cricket. I've never heard any of them say anything about fatigue during IPL matches. They play day in, day out. They never complain about it. Because is it the money which makes the player go, or is it the pressure or the criticism which is the fatigue factor come forward? I understand the bio bubble. It is very, very tough. But it is way of life now. It is way of life. You have to learn to live with it. You know, so if you want to play IPL, back-to-back IPL, then end of the day, if you don't win in international cricket, people will ask questions. There will be criticism. And how you answer it, it's up to you.
Right, interesting observations there. Now, Ravi Shastri has also spoken about his successor, Rahul Dravid. He says during the interview that I think Rahul Dravid, I think in Rahul Dravid they have got a guy who has inherited a great team, and with his stature and experience, it can only raise the bar. Now, Karthik, coming to you, raising the bar, what kind of challenges do we see Rahul Dravid confront immediately?
To sustain whatever Kohli and Shastri have put in front of the rest. Of course, dominance at home won't be that big a matter, but if you look at India's series right now, it's New Zealand, then India go to South Africa, get West Indies back home, then the IPL, etc., etc. Yes, these are the challenges. Maintaining India's success both home and away. That's the immediate challenge for Rahul Dravid, especially in South Africa, where India is struggling to win overseas test series.
Anis, do we see now going forward, because Rahul Dravid is also going to see through a transition in Indian cricket, and transitions are not often easy. Do we see a philosophy of 3 teams for 3 formats, Anis?
I'm not sure, Rika, whether they will be having 3 teams. There might be a couple of players like Virat Kohli might say that I don't want to play X amount of T20 or Y amount of 50 overs cricket, because he's prioritized test cricket. So there might be other players who might say that I want to play this brand of cricket. But I'm not sure, barring a couple of players or 3 players, there will be different players for each format. But yes, it's going to be tough. Like you mentioned, they're going to have a series with New Zealand, and they go South Africa, then West Indies is there. So it's about managing the players. Like Ashok sir said, he's right that when you play IPL, you don't complain. So why would you complain when you play World Cup? I know the players haven't complained. It's Ravi Shastri's statement or Bharat Arun's statement. But in short, trust me, Rika, it's tough to stay in a bio bubble. This might be probably, I would not use the word excuse, but a term used by both the coaches. But having said that, bio bubble takes its toll mentally on a player.
Ashok, since we are also talking about workload management, do you think that a pragmatic way forward would be for every player to discuss with BCCI how many days of international cricket in a year and domestic cricket in a year? By domestic cricket, I mean IPL and other cricket that they play. They should play, they should be a part of in their contract cycle.
Rika, I mean, practically it is on, but otherwise it is difficult, because except for say Virat or Rohit, how many can tell the BCCI that we don't want to play the series? They don't. They are not sure if they drop out of a series or 2 series, if they can come back, they will find a place on the side. So I think it might be a bit difficult for that. But I would suggest that, like a New Zealand series, why don't you try the new guys who did well in IPL? Somebody like Ruturaj Gaikwad, Harshal Patel, and Venkatesh Iyer, Shreyas Iyer. All these guys, you can try them and see, because they are good enough for international cricket. They played a lot of cricket. Right. So it might ease out, and it might take a lesser load on the fatigued cricketers like, say, Bumrah or Shami or, Rohit or Virat. They can take a break and maybe then come back refreshed when they go to South Africa or West Indies.
Now, Rishi, since there's so much talk about mental health of the players, fatigue factor, can an Indian cricketer do what Ben Stokes did? Can an Indian cricketer, suddenly come out and say that I'm taking a mental health break? Do you think the fans are going to accept?
Well, I'm sure fans are going to accept, but there's going to be a lot of social media hype around it that an Indian player has taken some time off for mental health, and then, people would start talking that, what is this mental health? We've never studied something like this in school. We've never been, brought up with something like this. So
Right.
I think in India, we've yet a lot behind accepting what mental health is, and we need to do a lot of things to get there, what other countries and what other players have done towards their mental health. But personally speaking, I think now that the T20 World Cup is over, I think the players would get the much needed break before the New Zealand series, because the Indian schedule is absolute joke. Had we made it to the final, we would have
Right.
just got 1 day travel and then off to New Zealand again.
Right, and in a year's time now, we also have the T20 World Cup. Well, India has been knocked out early in this edition of the World Cup. In the last 9 ICC tournaments, this is only for the second time that India has been knocked out in the group stage. Perhaps, there will be a focus leading a focus on a definite plan leading into the next World Cup. Anis, let me come to you. What really does India need to do now? In this edition, we have seen India's success is directly proportional to the success of the openers. What is it that needs to change?
First and foremost, India have won more matches when chasing, we all know, whether it is Virat Kohli chasing or anybody chasing. So India setting up a target will have to probably play more games when they play a bilateral series. Even if they lose the series is fine, but get into the habit of setting a target and winning the matches. More often than not, we lose matches when we try and set a target. That whether we talk about the 2016 loss to West Indies,
Right.
or loss to 14 finals to Sri Lanka. And even this tournament, we lost to both Pakistan and New Zealand setting. And mind you, we had 2 practice games, Rekha. This is what baffles me. I'm quite surprised that the
And we won
management
both
did
of
not
them.
decided to bat first in the practice game. We won both the tosses. It could have been an ideal preparation. I'm not saying you would have won the toss and got to bat second. But when you have an opportunity, why not try that? So this is one thing which I humbly request to Indian management. No matter whatever series you have, forget about winning the series. First, make sure that you learn to put up a target. That's one thing I want to talk
Maybe
about.
with a new captain, our luck of winning the toss will also change. Kartik, what do you think? What needs to change now?
First of all, the luck at winning the toss. But in general, the mentality. If you actually look at the 2 matches, yes, Kohli was unlucky in losing the toss to Pakistan and New Zealand. But what would have disappointed India or Indian fans the most is the way we bowled against Pakistan and the way we played against New
Right.
Zealand. Again, New Zealand, it seemed like while setting the target, we were aiming for too high because 150 seemed not to be enough against Pakistan. And we ended up scoring just 109. And then with the ball, who knows, probably we could have picked up Ravichandran Ashwin in place of Varun Chakravarti, especially for the Pakistan clash. Experience does help you, and you can see what Ashwin has done in the remaining 3 games. So going forward, India just need to get into a habit of adjusting to whatever conditions come in. Toss is not in your control. If batting first, try and bat sensibly and get that middle order some exposure. If you're going to depend on Rahul and Rohit to set up a good total for you, then the day those 2 openers fail, it's going to be a massive pressure on the middle order, and that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened in the 2 matches that India didn't win. Ashok, would you also say that India needs to become an all-weather, all-venue team and not, just be able to play under one condition and in one venue, which, yesterday we heard Kane Williamson about talking about the fact that it was difficult to adjust to different venues, but we did manage to do so.
I would say so, Rika, but another thing I would say is that we have to sort out bowlers in 2020 cricket. You can't have Shami in 2020 cricket. He's a wonderful test bowler, but
Right.
he leaks too many runs in 2020 cricket. Shardul is another one. Bhuvneshwar is past his prime. You have to pick the bowlers who are doing somebody like Avish Khan, somebody like Harshal Thakur, somebody like Arshdeep Singh, maybe Yajuvendra Chahal, maybe Ravi Bishnoi. There are a whole lot of people who can come in and turn the tide in favor of India, because bowlers wins you matches. Batsmen, put runs on the board, but bowlers are the one who wins you matches. And
Right.
we should not be
And tournaments as well.
As very rightly said, we should not be top heavy. The middle order should also get a look in. Because you can't depend on the top three. If they score runs, we'll get runs. So that ends up if first 2 wickets goes out quickly. We have no plan B in place.
We've completely run out of time. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on the broadcast with those thoughts on the day when India finally says goodbye to this edition of T20 World Cup.